people are for and against the Ayatollah?
Well, it's hard to say because things are changing very fast. But because he was assassinated by the U.S., Khamenei was, that's creating a huge boost in the popularity of the Islamic Republic. Like basically, Trump made Khamenei a martyr and a legend, like in the eyes of many Shia. Because at one point, like you have a large, like silent majority of Shia because you have a lot of religious Shia who aren't necessarily supporters of the Islamic Republic. They weren't supporters of Khamenei. But the fact that Khamenei was killed like this, that's like really raised his value in the eyes of some of these Shia. So a lot of these Shia in Iran are actually becoming more radicalized, like not more radicalized, but they're becoming like big supporters, like hardcore supporters of the Islamic Republic. And then you have the moderates who are shifting and they're becoming conservative. So everything is like being pushed to the right, basically, in terms of support for the government there.
Okay.
And this is one of the unintended effects. I don't know how Trump and his advisors like didn't realize, maybe because they were just taking orders from Bibi, but the effect of these airstrikes, taking out the leadership, taking out Khamenei, is that they're uniting the entire country behind Khamenei, behind the Islamic government.
I think that there's something to say that maybe this was a trap set by Khamenei, that he strategically allowed himself to be martyred like that. He knew that they were going to try to get him because he's 86 years old and reportedly he had cancer. So if he actually was assassinated by the Epstein regime, look at the effect that it's had on the axis of resistance. Look how it's woken people up. I've never seen Pakistan, Yemen, Iran, this united. The people there, I've never seen this sort of warrior spirit awaken within them. And for them, now they understand what's going on. First, they burned the ball statue with Netanyahu and Trump on it with the Star of David flag and the American flag. Now they saw that they assassinated the guy that was leading their movement, and all they seem to be completely activated. So potentially, I don't know what you think. Did he allow himself to be assassinated specifically because it was a strategic war move? Because he proved something that the Epstein regime will never be able to do. Netanyahu, where is he? In Germany hiding? Trump is going to advocate and say, more Americans are going to die. But, like his family are never going to fight. He dodged the draft. So he's getting Americans to die for Netanyahu and for Israel. They've admitted now that Iran didn't even pose an imminent threat on America. Can't believe they're saying this. Marco Rubio is saying they didn't even pose a threat. It was just an existential threat. So we need to get rid of it now. Do you think that this, not only is it waking people up because it's proving the difference in mentality, but did he allow himself to be martyred?
It's possible. Like it's possible that um, that he just made this like final gesture, final move. But, I don't think he would put his own, like willingly put his wife at risk
That's
and
true.
his daughter and granddaughter. I don't think he willingly did that. Maybe they chose to stick with him. Maybe they chose to be with him in those times. So I don't know. But yeah, it's very possible that he knew that this would be a rallying cry, like his death would actually unite the country. And it's like it's 100% on brand, like for Shiism. Like if you understand Shiism, it's part of Islam too. It's not just Shia, but the Shia really emphasize this idea of us versus the world, like overwhelming odds. They actually like to be the underdog. Like if they're not the underdog, like something is wrong, like in the Shia consciousness. Like that's part of the Islamic revolutionary spirit. And if you have your main leader, because Khamenei was succeeding Khomeini, like everyone knows Khomeini, he was the leader of the revolution in 1979 that deposed the Shah. And then Khamenei replaced Khomeini, but Khomeini died of like natural causes. Like he either had cancer or he had a heart attack. He just died. He wasn't martyred.
Mm.
Khamenei, however, like is being martyred, and that's like 100% on brand. You're killed by the great Satan. Like that's how, like Hussein died. Like Hussein was also killed by an oppressive tyrant, Yazid, and not only was he killed, his family was killed in the most brutal, unjust way, and that's the grandson of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Mhm.
So that's something that Sunnis also believe, obviously, and it's also something that we aspire to have the bravery of Hussein to go against all odds and stand up for justice, even at the cost of our own lives. That's a value that all Muslims should have. But with Shiism specifically, and with the Iranian revolution, like the Islamic revolution, like that is so core to who they are and their identity. And now Khamenei like fits perfectly into that. And all the skeptics and the doubters who thought, oh, because there were a lot of Sunnis actually who said this too, that Iran is actually in cahoots with Israel and it's all a show, like it's just fireworks or just play fighting, and it's a big conspiracy. Okay, well, this proves that no, Khamenei is dead, like he was killed. The great Satan actually took him out, so that proves that he was legitimate in their eyes. So this is like a big blunder on the part of the U.S. and Israel that they've turned him into a legend.